Hello and welcome for my Sagittarius 2013 tarot card reading. Let's start immediately checking the entities that we have for Sagittarius 2013. These entities are going to give us an idea. Notice that we have Chango, we have Ogun, and we have Oba here. So notice that Ogun and Oba, they are upside down. This is what they call Osogbo, meaning that it's not that you are going to have bad luck. It means that there's a lot of obstacles in your way in order to get to what you want during 2013. The only one is Chango. Hence, you could say that it's going to be very difficult for you to obtain things during 2013. It's not that you're not going to. There's a lot of obstacles in your way that they have to be cleaned away. They have to be removed, and they're going to be a little bit difficult for you to do that, especially during 2013. Oba, she didn't listen to she listened to the wrong advice and she got into trouble, and that's why you see her covering her ear. Ogun, he cursed himself, promising that he was going to be working 24/7. He's a hard worker, and he cursed himself because he did something wrong. So notice what is happening here. There's a lot of stuff happening that are going to be happening during 2013. It's highly probable because Sagittarius hasn't listened or hasn't learned a lesson from past experiences. That's what we could be saying here. And that's why we only have Chango that is on the upright position. Okay? And Shango is an Orisha, an entity that he's strong temper, kind of impulsive, and he needs to learn to control sometimes his temper. So you just put all that together, it's going to give you a hint of what these Orishas are going to telling you for 2013, and it's very simple. It's kind of control your temper and learn to deal with the obstacles, because these obstacles practically have been put by your own head in your own path, way, life, whichever way you want to see it or understand it. Okay? Astrologically speaking, the tarot cards that we have here, we have two, and both of them are three. We have the three of one with the sun in Aries, and then we have here the three of swords with Uranus and Libra. Notice that there are 2, 3. Hence, is emphasizing the desire of growth and expansion that is going to dominate the sign of Sagittarius during 2013. Sun in Aries, which is a very young energy, and then it's wand is related also with growth energy, and it's a very young energy. So what we're going to start seeing is that 2013 is going to be a very aggressive, impulsive year for Sagittarius. You Sagittarius you're going to be very impulsive. You're going to be acting like an Aries, and I hope you understand what I mean. Very impulsive, aggressive, and everything is going to be more about you. You're going to be thinking more about you. That's the energy of the sun acting up on you during 2013. We have here also Sword 3, Uranus and Libra. Notice that Uranus is here, and Uranus is a planet that pulls out things that must be dealt with, but in a very creative way, in a very different way. And Uranus also is a planet that brings changes. And for example, we have the Great Depression and the two world wars. They were fought during the transit of Uranus. So what is telling us is that there are big things, big changes coming to your life thanks to Uranus. Libra is seeking a balance and harmony in everything during 2013. So when we put everything together, we start seeing that there's going to be a lot of obstacles according to the entities, and this is going to push you to find growth, expansion. It's going to make you think more about yourself, make yourself a little bit more aggressive, more impulsive, with the purpose to find creative ways, to solve this problem, this situation, and at the same time you are trying to find balance and harmony in your life according to Libra. Okay, the general reading for 2013 Sagittarius, we have it here. Let's start first with the first trimester so you have an idea. For first trimester we have the Nine of Swords, and you notice that the person is suffering. And what it means, upside down or not, it means exactly that you'll be suffering. It could be because of someone or something, a situation in your life, or because someone is making you suffer. You cannot sleep because you're worried about a situation on your life or a situation of someone that is very close to you. The concept is suffering, mental suffering, anguish, and things like that. And that's for the first trimester of 2013. The second trimester, we have the Two of Cups upside down. And what it means is very simple. It means when there is a divorce. And when I'm talking about divorce, it not necessarily means that you're married or you have a girlfriend, a boyfriend, that you have a relationship. A divorce is when a relationship breaks apart. And it could be your partner in a society. You have a partnership. You are a member of something big and important, and you divorce from that situation, if you know what I mean. Okay, that's the concept behind. It not necessarily means in a very literal way that you're going to divorce from your wife or your husband, or if you're living together you're going to separate. No, it's the concept behind is the main concept behind is a separation, a divorce of two entities, two groups, two institutions, two persons, one partnership that splits, a society that splits, things like that. That's the concept, a divorce. Okay, by the third week we have the Page of Swords, which is bringing a very interesting energy for Sagittarius during the 2013, the third trimester. In the third trimester, you are going to be a little bit more paranoid. You are not trusting anyone. Technically speaking, you're going to be paranoid, not trusting anyone or anything. Okay, you're going to be in a defensive mood, and obviously I don't blame you, because you're going to start seeing a lot of obstacles, a lot of stuff going on. You're going to start concentrating on yourself, like I said before. You're going to be a little bit more aggressive and more impulsive, and we're going to start seeing that more during the third trimester of 2013 for you Sagittarius. By the last week of the last trimester of Sagittarius, what we're seeing here is the star upside down. So we're talking about hopes, but not only hopes. If you look very carefully at the symbolism, you see that there's also water falling on the land, and water that's being poured on a little pond. It has a very psychological meaning, and it means the flow of information from the subconscious to the conscious, and from the conscious part to the subconscious. There is a flow in life, and here is upside down. So it's not only letting us know that there's hopelessness, the sensation of hopelessness during the last trimester of 2013, but it's also this, letting us know that psychologically speaking, we are not connecting the conscious with the unconscious part, and we need to learn to do that, to bring afloat the subconscious, the unconscious part of our mind, and deal with that, with the conscious. How you gonna do that? There are so many ways. There are a lot of books that you can use, self-help books, therapy, just with the purpose to help you mix those waters from the conscious and the subconscious. It's very important. It's highly probable that you're going to start having a lot of crazy dreams. So remember that it's because of that. There are things that you are not dealing with. And that's why we have Uranus that is pulling things out. So you are creative and you are forced to deal with a lot of stuff that you have been postponing or you haven't been aware of. So you have to deal with that in a very creative way. And that's why we have this upside down. Okay? Now when we look on a vertical line, horizontal line, we have this. We have the Ace of Cups upside down and the Star upside down. When we put these two together, what it's letting us know that there is a divorce, a situation that is happening or is going to happen during 2013, and is bringing hopelessness, but it's also letting us know that this situation is happening because we are not dealing with certain issues that we're not aware, this is in the unconscious. They're not flowing. There is some kind of stagnation stagnation in your life that haven't been addressed and need to be addressed in order to start solving the problem. So probably, highly probably, you're going to start seeing that many things that happened to you many years ago, days ago, weeks ago, you're going to feel like you are like a rerun, like you're seeing the same movie, watching the same episode over and over. Why? Because you're not dealing with certain subconscious, unconscious part of your psychology. Okay? In a vertical line, notice that we have the Page of Swords with the Nine of Swords. Both are upside down. So you're going to be in a mental state that obviously you're going to be a lot of brooding, a lot of thinking, to the point that you probably won't be able to sleep. You're going to be very worried about many things, and it's going to push you to be in a very defensive mode and highly paranoid. I will say paranoid. And all that is related with what I already mentioned you. This divorce and this kind of stuff that is happening to you. And when we look to the center, we have the Ten of Staff or Wand. And he's letting us know that everything that is happening during 2013 is related with something that you perceive as a load, a baggage in your life, and you want to get rid of it. And when we look at all this together, plus the King of Wands, of Staff, there is a major restructuring, reorganization, things related with stability. Because for me, this is what it means. Then we have the King that is also representing Aries. Again, we have Aries. So a lot of impulsiveness during the 2013 in your life, Sagittarius. Very impulsive, very aggressive. Why? Because you're having a lot of obstacles. You have a lot of baggage, a lot of load that you have that you want to get rid of it. That's probably why you're seeing also all this stuff related with your mind, with a lot of thinking, brooding, a lot of stuff related with your mind. You're thinking, you're a little bit paranoid, on the very defensive mode. There is a lot of separation, divorce, whichever way you want to see it. And everything starts making sense, because when you put all that together, it's letting us know that is because there's a baggage, a load that you want to get rid of and you can't. And there's a lot of restructuring, reorganization in your life, because you're trying to find balance and harmony in your life, to find a very creative way and new different way to deal with this situation, with these obstacles that life is bringing you. But like I said, the trick is on your psyche. Here we have what I call the trilogy, and something that I learned myself is that these three cards, this is actually the Celtic tarot card, and probably if you know a little bit of tarot card reading, you have noticed that I make a lot of changes to it. And here we have the trilogy, which I call the trilogy, and we have the tarot card of the Star upside down. We have the 6 upside down pentacles, and we have the Page of Wands upside down. And here again, what is letting us know that there's a lot of projects, because the page, what it really means is, literally speaking, it could mean a boy, a person that is really young, very innocent, naive, but now is upside down. So all this represented by the boy, that innocence, that joy of life when you find something new, you learn something new, is truncated, is completely obliterated, whichever way you want to see it. I'm being a little bit dramatic here, but I just want to transmit the concept behind. And you're not going to start seeing things the same way. It's like the loss of innocence. And here is related with this fear and hope, desire of breaking free of a situation that is practically driving you crazy, a situation where you depend on something or depend on someone, whatever it is, the government, whatever it is. There's a situation that you're going to be depending upon, or you were depending, and now you want to break free of it. And then that's what is going on. This is bringing you hopelessness, this situation, but at the same time you have to remember that we have to work with the subconscious, Sagittarius. Projects that are not finished, things probably that emerge, obstacles, are going to bring you back to reality. And all this situation is going to make you feel like you want to break free from the situation. That's probably why you want to get rid of the load, the baggage, want a divorce, or you get divorced, and things like that. So notice what I'm saying here. This is the dynamic for you, 2013. This thinking, brooding, and all that stuff that is making you suffer from insomnia, technically speaking, is going to make you feel also frustrated, like you lost something. That's the kind of situation of hopelessness. You want to feel destroyed. It's a very strong sensation that you're going to start feeling during 2013, Sagittarius. So keep that in mind. And here we have also the Page of Swords upside down and the Knight of Wands upside down. It's letting us know that there are projects, obviously, again, they're not going to be completed. You're going to be a little bit more paranoid on whatever project you're going to be doing, because you're going to be on a defensive mode. There are projects, they seem not going to work that well as you thought, as well as you planned, and that's why you're going to be on a defensive mode. Okay? So you're going to be a little bit frustrated during the 2013. Projects are not going to work the same way they're going to be working, because there's going to be a lot of obstacles for you. So what is the advice that the tarot cards are giving you? It's very simple. Notice that we have Saint Gabriel, and we have Saint Jerome representing the strength. We have the Ace of Coins, and Judgment, which is Saint Gabriel, is represent resurrection. When we emerge, notice that people are coming from the tomb, from the earth, soil, whichever, the grave, And that what it means is an awakening of ourself from a lower level of consciousness to a higher level of consciousness, a resurrection. The main idea behind this is resurrection, and that's what you're going to be experiencing, Sagittarius. Well, that's what you should do, how you should do it. That's what the tarot cards are going to tell you. Saint Jerome, the story says that he helped a lion. The lion had a little thorn on his paw, and he pulled out the thorn, and after that the lion became his best friend. And notice that the lion represents is wild, is the wild west, the wild world, and it represents also the unconscious. And Jerome, by pulling out that little thorn, representing our fears, those little things that hurt us, and not making us feel well in life, by just pulling that out, is like we're conquering our fears and all that kind of stuff. And that's the message. In order to get a better 2013, Sagittarius, you have to conquer your fears. You have to learn to control and face that animal in psychological terms. That way you will be able to resurrect. Notice that we have Saint Gabriel looking towards Saint Jerome, and Saint Jerome is doing the same thing, looking to the Ace of Coins. In all the tarot cards, this Ace of Coins means changes. When you move on. When you're there to cross the portal, when you're there to cross the door. Doors have a very symbol, is a great symbolism. If you are in the living room and you cross the door, you are in a different place in your house. Maybe the room, maybe a different room, bedroom, family room, whatever it is, it's a different room. And that's the concept, notice, is move on, moving on, is there to move on. Okay? But here, this is a chalice, and there it has the, I forgot how you say that in English, what you eat in the Catholic Church in every Mass, and which represents the body of Christ. In this case, this card meaning finding your purpose in life, your goal. But in order to do that, you have to conquer a lot of stuff. You have to resurrect. You have to dominate, control those fears, that animal, and make that animal your friend. And in psychology, that's when we bring the shadow with the persona, when we are able to call the id or the ego and bring it forward into the self. And I hope that you understand what I'm talking about. And this is what the cards are telling us. There's a lot of things that are in a very subconscious, unconscious level that they need to be dealt with in order for you to have a very easy 2013. Because like I said, there's going to be a lot of obstacles for you. And mostly of those obstacles are mainly brought to you by you in a very unconscious level. Okay? This is my tarot card reading for you, Sagittarius 2013. I hope that all this is helping you, and have a wonderful 2013. And that was my cat.